Donald and Douglas are Scottish twin engines. They're practical, peppery and proud. They nearly always work together. One day, Donald and Douglas were chuffing through the countryside, hauling a heavy load. Down the line, Trevor the traction engine had been struggling with a big cartload of hay. Crossing the tracks, the cart wheels had broken off. Then Trevor heard a whistle. Trevor cried. Donald could see the cart. He cried. Donald's driver applied the brakes, but it was too late. Luckily, no one was hurt. Donald snapped. Douglas snapped back. Huffed Donald. Argued Douglas. Before long, the track was cleared and Donald and Douglas were on their way. The twins were so cross they refused to speak to each other for the rest of the day. The next day, the Fat Controller needed an engine to help Duck at the smelter's yard, said Donald eagerly. Said the Fat Controller. Said Donald. The Fat Controller was surprised, but agreed. Thomas was worried. He asked. Sniffed Douglas. Huffed Donald. At first, Donald enjoyed working with Duck. Then things started to go wrong. Donald asked. Duck replied. Donald was cross. He huffed. Douglas was working on his own. He chuffed dutifully through the beautiful countryside, but Douglas had no one to share with. Although he was trying not to, he was beginning to miss his twin. That night, Douglas's driver took him to see Donald. Said Douglas. Donald sniffed. This made Douglas very cross, he said, and steamed away in a huff. The next day, Donald was in a bad mood. Duck could see he was getting too close to the buffers. Duck shouted, but it was too late. Donald's driver was very cross. He said Donald knew he was right, and Duck knew he couldn't pull Donald back onto the rails, so he went for help. Donald was sadly finishing his work. Douglas was sadly finishing his work as Duck steamed into the depot. Said Duck. Douglas cried. And he steamed off as fast as he could. Douglas struggled and struggled. He finally pulled his twin gently back onto the tracks. He was relieved Donald wasn't hurt. Donald said Douglas. Insisted Donald. Chuckled Duck. And they were.